How many of us have, at one time or another, compared ourselves to someone else and were left feeling inadequate? Me too. Theodore Roosevelt once said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." I believe comparison should also take the blame for destroying dreams, limiting what's possible, de-energizing us, and in some situations leaving us frozen in inaction. I'm Monica Liebenow, and I'm one of the creators of the Sticker family here in Australia. I think it's important to let you know up front that I'm very ordinary and normal. Today we will explore what it is that sparks imagination, creativity and ideas, and what fuels the fire and amplifies our motivation to chase our dreams. In other words, what will lead us to take action. Ideas can be small and have very little impact on anything, or they can be monumental and their influence can shift the direction of humankind. Ideas can solve problems, create more ease, a greater quality of life, divide or unify us. But what about the things that do the opposite of sparking ideas? How about becoming aware of the limiting self-talk and the de-sparkers that might take us out of the game before we even begin? When the voice in our head says, "My idea is no good," ask yourself, where does this come from? Is this someone else's opinion? Remember, we can choose to surround ourselves with people who support and uplift us. If we want our imagination to come out and play, we can have no time for the naysayers, the energy vampires, and the dream stealers. My idea is too similar. Can anyone relate to having an idea that was inspired by another idea? So what you might not know about me, and this might surprise some of the locals here, but contrary to some media reports, I did not, in fact, invent the concept of family stickers on cars. The idea, I believe, originated in the States. My husband and I were, however, rather fascinated and eventually just plain obsessed by the concept's simplicity. And it was in this inspired state that we had the idea to create our own unique version of characters, thus planning our sticker domination, one car at a time, starting right here in Queensland. I'm not very creative. How many people think that they don't have a creative bone in their body and would have difficulty coming up with a new idea? That was me too. The ability to have ideas is not reserved just for the creative people in this world. We all have imagination within us, and the sooner we stop comparing ourselves to others, the sooner we can tap into our own unique gifts and talents. I don't have the skills. I believe everyone has gifts and purpose, and just because you haven't found them yet doesn't mean they don't exist. As long as we're always learning, we can acquire and develop new skills. As long as we're partnering and collaborating with others who have the skills, we will have them by default. It doesn't need to be a solo journey. When my husband and I first decided to start our business, it was only ever intended to be a hobby, really, something that we could do together after hours for a bit of fun. So we thought we could start small, selling our wares at school fairs and local markets. But as demand grew, we had no choice. We had to grow with it. When we chose to partner and collaborate with others who had the skills we needed, we became a team who could produce. We learnt about the prerequisites of retail with large chain stores and the barcoding and packaging requirements that went along with it. Steep learning curve. Talking about team, did I mention that my husband and I live with 3 15-year-olds and a 12-year-old? Our mini Brady Bunch became a family 7 years ago, and our children were also a part of our team. The skills that they brought to the team included imagination, fun, excitement, and encouragement. So there was this one time when I thought I knew what I was doing with this fancy barcode software, but as it turns out, I totally messed up, and the wrong code was printed onto 50,000 packaging sleeves, making them unusable. We were devastated at the error and we couldn't afford to have them reprinted or done in time. Sometimes ideas are born in desperation. I eventually had the idea to print the correct ones onto sheet labels on our laser printer and stick them on top of the incorrect ones. Picture this: our kids, our extended family and friends spent their entire weekend with us, sitting around our dining table and kitchen counter, sticking label after label onto packets. And the teamwork and learning continued. So what happens when you have an idea? Does it excite you? Does it keep you from sleeping? The energy to pursue your idea and make it happen comes from passion. However, sometimes external influences can shift us off our axis and douse our passion. Some of you are on the verge of dreaming up an idea. There's something percolating in your mind. And like we were, you may be tempted to play it small and safe without risk of failure or ridicule. And if you choose to follow that direction, the well-trodden path of de-sparkers, you may be robbing yourself and the world of something, be it small and brilliant or large and magnificent. Once you decide to explore your idea, you'll discover the exciting world of the fire. What fuels fire is practically infinite, but it comes from desire, excitement, and encouragement. The number of times I would question what we were doing was equally matched by the clues that we were in fact on the right track and that people wanted what we were producing. And yes, little boy in wheelchair, I would love to draw a character especially for you because your mum tells me in an email that none of the other characters feels right. A standout fiery moment for me was when I saw the first car bearing our stickers outside of our home state while driving across the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And before I could control myself, I was honking my horn and smiling and waving, and they must have thought I was a nutter, but you could not have wiped the grin off my face that day. But just as there are de-sparkers, there are fire de-fuelers. One of my many lessons was to not take anything personally, and the online comments were often extremely hurtful and personal, and they threatened to put out my fire. I learned that people were quick to voice their displeasure, disgust, pain, and anger via online commentary, and it felt personal. Some were nasty, full of false assumptions, and I wanted to defend myself, my integrity, my intentions. You don't know me. How can you say this about me? Did you know that I once made it to the top 5 mothers to avoid list? Came in at number 2 ahead of Morticia Adams, Peggy Bundy and Carol Brady. On more than one occasion, my husband would drag me away from the computer when he noticed me staring at the screen with tears rolling down my cheeks. Perhaps you can relate to allowing other people's opinions to matter, because at your very basic core, you too just want to be liked. What I learned was my own internal frame of reference matters more. I also learned that working long hours combined with too much comfort eating, comfort drinking, and stress resulted in a gain in weight and a loss in self-confidence, belief, and worthiness. Added to this, I felt that I was letting my own highest value, my family, down. I'll never forget this one day when my child looked at me sadly and asked, "Do we have to have takeaway again, Mum?" Because I hadn't been organised enough to get groceries for dinner or school lunches, and I felt like such a failure. Work-life balance? The irony. We were making happy stick figures, and yet we were mentally, physically, and emotionally exhausted. Should you decide to pursue your dream, please keep your health a high value. An imbalance of health and an overabundance of stress will not lead you closer to your goals. I think it's too ambitious to seek perfect balance, because when you have the fire roaring inside as you explore your idea, there is no such thing. So instead, I learned to seek harmony and to find a way to flow between the creativity and the daily essentials as much as possible. I also realised it's about teamwork and being supported by my team, and not trying to be some solo superhero burning the candle at both ends, which is inspirational to no one. I have a favourite quote. Whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically act upon must inevitably come to pass. Please know that, just like sticker families, highly successful people with ideas come in all shapes and sizes. Our challenge is to pull that idea out of our cupboard or from the box beneath our bed, and to look at it from the new perspective that you can do anything through learning new skills or collaborating with people who want to see you succeed. So this is my call to action. Not just to know that you can do anything, but to know it is your duty to fulfill your purpose, be the light, ignite people with your spark and shine. Don't dim your lights for anyone. Thank you.